So hello everyone and welcome to Fusang Focus hosted by Fusang. I'm Mila, your host for today. And week by week, we cover various topics with various industry experts. And this discussion for today, we have with us the CEO of Fusang, Henry Chong, Asia's first digital exchange platform, and our very special guest today, the COO of Qnet, Mr. Romulus Sirbu, or best known as Romy. Welcome both.
Hello.
And
Hello,
thanks
everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So we'll quickly go into the topic because it's quite an interesting topic, right? So the theme is paths towards financial freedom. So during the phases of instability, especially like now during the MCO and COVID-19, typical systems often miss the mark to address people's needs. So investing in oneself and in the evolving ecosystem seems to be an aspiration for many, especially for me. So before I address the first questions to Romy, I would like to quickly talk about Romy because that will make sense of the question, right? Romy has got 20-year plus experience in direct selling or network marketing with 11 businesses in 2 continents and having dealt with 500,000 sellers. And these are people who are driven on financial freedom. So, Romy, having said that, right, may I know, with all the experiences that you've had handling people on a daily basis, what is the secret to be financially free? I think this is like the question that everybody's asking nowadays.
Well, yeah, that's a fabulous topic, financial freedom. Everybody actually dream to that, especially these days being locked down at home. You would like to be financial free, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to financial freedom, based on my experience, of course, I have to confess that actually there are no secrets to financial freedom. However, there are actually systems to financial freedom. So before sharing mine, I think it will be important to deal with a big misconception here. And this is that only a business owner can become eventually financially free. So if you just Google search today to see how many people have a business today, you will have like less than 10% of the world population. So I do not believe that we have 10% financial free people in the planet today. So there must be something else. And I also believe that an employee can become financial free. So this is something that actually interests me. And as Ila mentioned, during my whole career, I actually dealt with entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, people who have a dream to be free one day. So if anyway talk about, a system, which unfortunately it's very much neglected by most people who could stand a chance to be financially free due to their, let's say, current technical knowledge, that system, I call it personal branding. And might sound interesting, and actually it is very interesting. Why? Because this is the only thing that directly connects to your subconscious mind, which is responsible to 95% of whatever we do. I believe that everybody who is interested in business and financial freedom and everything agree that for a company success or a product success, a key role will play the power of its brand. Well, if you take this out of the equation and apply to people, unfortunately, you can see that although you think for a business is very important, when you think of yourself, meaning a potential key to your financial freedom, very few people know what personal branding is, and even less than that do something about their personal brand. I believe following all the years, because for me it was interesting to study why some people are more successful than others, because we see them all. I mean, like Ila mentioned, 500,000 people work with me eventually along my career. So I could see who going faster, who is going slower. I can say one thing, that marketing yourself and your career as a brand is a skill any person who seeks success must be able to master. Boost your personal brand because only success attracts success. That will be my takeaway, Eli. If speaking about my 20 plus years, if I have to pick one thing, I should say work on your personal brand. That's the system who will eventually bring you to success.
You know, and do you have a specific example of how people can do that? Because I couldn't agree more with that.
Of course, being a system, right, it has some pillars that you can work on it. So in my view, the 5 big ones are the following. So first, although now people say, but I'm at home, lockdown, this, yeah, but this will not last forever, right? So first, most important pillar is offline remarkable presence. And what I will put here in a very short summary will be know how to groom yourself, power dressing, accessorizing, and body shape. So this is pillar number 1, because eventually we have to meet people. We will be in contact with people. Even if it's on the camera or not, we will meet people. Point number 2, it's right attitude, right? So people with negative mindset will very unlikely become successful one day. You might see maybe exception, but you will never see massive number of people being successful and all of them have a negative mindset. Point number 3, which today actually is very relevant, I would say online catchy presence, which means what? Your profile picture, your LinkedIn profile, for example, your social media content, for example. Because this is how people will perceive you. And remember, perception is reality eventually. So that's why when I see social media and you see people presenting themselves in different way, you could spot out, even without going to details, who is more interesting than others. That's why it's very important to learn this. And today you can find a lot of webinars, master classes, courses, online, offline, with people who can help you improve your social media presence, your online catchy presence. Point number 4 in my book is your communication skills. So it doesn't matter how smart you are, if you cannot communicate, if you are not able to share what is here to your business partner, it's not going to work. So when you say communication skills, I'm thinking about verbal, written, and obviously body language. So attending a presentation skills class, I think it's a must for someone who really wants to perform in life, because almost everything what we do is eventually a presentation. From a domestic case, when you want to go to a certain restaurant, maybe your spouse wants to go to another restaurant, so how to influence the decision in your favor, and moving to a business when you want to take a certain decision, but others want others, so you need to influence, or you want someone to buy something from you. It's all about being able to communicate efficiently. And of course, point number 5, which can be point number 1, but I put it especially on the last, because if you neglect the first 4, only having the point number 5, which is solely technical and leadership skills, will not bring you too far. So don't take from the equation and say, oh, I know my job, I know what I'm doing. That's great, because without this, obviously you can't be successful. But only with this and without the other 4, you will not go too far. That will be my takeaway from a perspective of personal branding, connection directly to financial freedom.
Yes. And I think that COVID is going to change the world structurally forever. There are obviously so many mega trends towards digitization that have been going on for a long time. And I think that this will dramatically accelerate all of them. All businesses, including us, are being forced to rethink how we meet people, how we interact. We're doing calls like this virtually. Even how we work, right? Even within the office, so to speak, a lot of us are all sitting at home. And I think that online branding, as you say, and rethinking your presence and how you interact with the world almost is really going to radically reshape a lot of structures, not least of which because once upon a time, your social networks were still very localized. Right? You met people locally, you did business, you interacted, you talked to your colleagues who are all local. And now, unavoidably, I think we all need to think globally. Now, when we're all working at home and we're talking over Zoom like this, it doesn't really matter whether I have a colleague in the same city or in a different country. It's all kind of the same thing. And I think that blurring of geographical lines is going to shape the world a lot more than people expect.
Yeah, I mean, today, many people can have great offers. Why someone will pick you? Why not others? I mean, why to risk just to go in a sea full of options, more or less same like you, and without being able to detach yourself from the masses? That's the whole thing, that we need to be open-minded and understand you need to be different in a good way.
Yes.
Because everybody agrees when it comes to product, it's normal. You will not purchase a car which costs 5 times more than other just because it's the brand, right? Which make it 5 times more expensive. You go for a phone, again, same story. You go for a luxury item, same story. You pay much more money. Exactly the same story comes when it comes to people. You might have 2 employees with more or less the same skills and still not pay the same. Why? Because one of them know how to brand himself better. When you go to interview with a potential job as an employee or to meet a potential new business partner, and you are not the only one who make the offer, how they will choose you. It's very difficult that always you have the best offer. So to count on that nobody beat my offer. In today's world with globalization and everything, it's very difficult to do that. So then you need to learn how to stand out, how to want them to want you. That's the key in my view. And if you look in, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you mentioned about your book. So can I know what book is that and what the topics that you actually cover so that the audience might just want to know?
Yeah, I mean, my book
Okay.
is how to create the best version of you.
Okay.
I wrote it as a hobby first, and I wanted actually to share with everybody what I accumulate during all these years working with so many people, different culture, different industry, different background, and it's working, because what I actually managed to prove that you can accelerate your earning increase by actually strengthening your brand. So I give you an example. What if you can double your income or revenue in 2 years' time? I mean, how many people you know, for example, as an employee who can double their earning in 2 years? And to do that every 2 years. Can you imagine where you will be in 10 years, in 20 years, versus the projection that you have today? If you look today at your status and what are the chances that one day you will have 2 times more money, I don't think that you think of 2 years. So that's why it's very important to bring this knowledge into people. And one of my mentors used to say, empty your cup, meaning be open-minded to learn new skills. Don't think you know everything. What I try to summarize in my book is actually the steps for point number 1 and point number 3, which is the online and offline catchy presence. Because presentation skills, everybody can go for a training. Right attitude, there are millions of books where you can read about, how the big leaders of the world think, how they act, so there is no problem. But there are not so many actually materials when I try to study to put together an information which is not too much, not too technical, and actually serve exactly your purpose. So this was my intention when I wrote my book, is actually to give a guidance. It's like a guide. It's not actually a book. It's not a technical book. It's what you need to do and why you should do that in order to make a good step in this journey that we are talking today, financial freedom.
You mentioned earlier that it's not just business owners that can be financially free and employees as well. Can you talk a bit more about that? Because I think that's a fascinating concept, especially as we've been mentioning in a sort of purely digital world where we're almost like individual units now, right? We all kind of work at home. We all interact with each other in the same way. Do you have any specific tips for people who feel like, hey, I'm just working for another business? How can I, really take control of my life and be free in the same way as someone who owns a business?
Yeah, I mean, I was mentioning this on purpose because most of the people I meet, and when we talk about this subject, they come to the idea, oh, I have to open a business, otherwise there is no way. No, I mean, I work in both environments during all these 20 plus years. As an entrepreneur, as a corporate guy. So I've been in both worlds. And I saw that actually it's working in both directions, right? As an entrepreneur, I end up, increasing my revenue 40 times a long couple of years. As employees, I also increase my earning significantly. That overall, if today I want to stop working, I can do that. So I come in the position that I don't have to work for living. I work because I like it, because it's my passion. Direct selling is where I believe it's my core experience. And then everything that I learn, I can put in and I can help others. So it's not about that I have to, I like it. So to your point, what should somebody who works for others do? First of all, it's personal development is something that I will keep encouraging. So learn some personal finance, I should say. Most people want to be financial free, but they don't know how to make the family P&L. Basic things, right? Just start and put some things on paper. Take your laptop or whatever, make an Excel file and put some numbers there. Do some simulation and see what's financial freedom for me. Because maybe, Henry, your definition of financial freedom, Ila's definition, my definition will be totally different. Generally speaking, people say financially freedom means you are able to work a number of years, which also definition varies from 20 to 10, without you have to work. So actually you can earn money from some passive income, or you have enough money in investment, deposit, whatever, that you can stay and so-called do nothing, but still life goes on with the same standard of living. So what's that standard for you? Put it down, make a simulation and understand how much you need. Because that's one of the issues today. Many people are unhappy in their job. You can see that, but they do nothing to change that status quo. No? So you go to a job and then you see on social media, oh, there is this training, I might be free. People are selling secret to success. There is no such thing as a secret to success. If it will be, all these guys who entertain these trainings, tomorrow, they should be also financial free. And they are not, but they spend $2,000, $5,000 in this training. So let's not fool ourselves. There are so many variables which contribute to actually your success. Most important is to be able to define which are the key ones. And then keep coming back like a broken record saying, work on your personal brand. This will be something which will be valuable always. It's your value. So would I pay you $10,000 a month? Would I pay you $100,000 a month based on what? Your brand. So if you think cheap, you will never be financially free. If you think saving penny, that's the way to become financially free, no, it's not going to be this way. If you pay yourself last, no, you will never be financially free anymore. Pay yourself first. Invest in yourself, build yourself, but not only knowledge. Remember, in my explanation was point number 5 was knowledge. There are 4 other points. My question is, how much someone invests in himself? Very little. For some people, nothing. You can see. So it's a very long conversation. It's a very philosophical conversation at the same time. But I can say it It's my experience. Is it working? Yes. For me, work definitely. People that I teach working, yes, they've changed their life. That's probably one of the proudest things that I can say about my life. I changed many people's life. I took them from where they are, and by equip them with certain knowledge and mindset and thinking, their life changed. But it's all about in doing something. And don't think that only, learning skills will bring you there. Definitely, yes. But if your brand is poor, Henry, try to imagine the story. You have a fabulous car engine-wise, but the look and feel is terrible. Will you buy this car just because have a great engine? Spending, I don't know, $100,000? Probably not. It's exactly the same. Our skills, technical skills, is the engine. Of course, I need a good engine to run the car, but the rest will make the car to look premium. To say, oh, I like the features. I would like to buy a Bentley, or I would like to buy a Porsche, or whatever, because of everything this brand stands for. I don't think that somebody buy a Porsche just because of the engine. I don't think so, right? Of course, engine is important. Sounds good, go fast, but there are other cars who, provide more or less the same power, and they are not costs to the level of a Porsche. So it's all about understanding that package is also important, not only the content.
You talked a lot about personal branding for individuals. What about if you are an entrepreneur and you run a company? How should you think about branding for your company or your brand or your product?
Well, branding a company, branding a product, I think it's already very well-known skill, and there are, even companies or professionals specialize in branding companies, branding. But again,
because I guess something that I see is that even company brands are becoming much more personal. When people interact with a lot of brands today, and you look on social media, for example, the leader, the CEO of that brand often has a much bigger following on social media than the brand itself. I feel that people want that human connection and interaction, and they want to see the face and the team behind the brand, as opposed to the old school way of just, here's my product, I push it out to you, here's my marketing campaign, and that's it.
Exactly. So then comes the personal branding of the icon of the company, right? We all know, famous worldwide business owners, which everyone would like to work for that particular company, like Richard Branson, I don't know, Bill Gates, Jack Ma. You just pick names. These are iconic brands itself. I think these guys are a brand by themselves, and they have a company. But you are attracted by the owner, exactly like you said. So if you are having a boring presence on social media, nobody wants to follow you. Compared to an example that you say that they want you to prove yourself with your product, be with your product, interact with people, have this conversation, chat groups, Facebook communities, Instagram, everything. So here again, catchy online presence. Pillar number 3. It's all about you eventually. Mm-hmm. And this is a science. This is not like some people think, oh, I know, I just put a suit on me. No, personal branding doesn't mean you have to wear a suit. That's a very big misconception, At the same time, on the other hand, you say people, oh, I know rich people who just wear t-shirt. Hey, doesn't mean that rich people know everything. It's like exactly you will tell me that if a rich people is oversized, then it's healthy to be oversized, because look at rich people, they are oversized. Hey, come on. It's exactly the same. Everything is a science. Now, you know or you don't know things about that, that's another story. That's why I keep encouraging people, be open-minded, empty your cup, learn new skills, don't think you know everything, because things are changing. We just mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, COVID will change a lot of things. Now what? Should we all of us think with the mindset before COVID? No, something has to be adjusted. So learn new things. Stay
So,
open.
Henry, being the founder of Asia's first digital currency exchange, right? So, how do you think that you can help your audiences attain financial freedom through you or your platform?
Something that I guess to our conversation that I'm thinking a lot about is a lot of company owners, a lot of founders, they come to us when they're looking to raise money. They say, I've heard that if I can do an online digital security offering, I can raise tons and tons of money. I just need to find a couple of firms who will do it for me. And that really, what we've been talking about really resonates because that's, I think, a very old school way of thinking, where you just go out and you look for some intermediaries. No different than once upon a time, if you had a product and you went to an advertising agency and you said, go do some advertising for me and help me sell it. I don't think it works like that anymore. Consumers crave direct interactions with, as you said, not just the companies, but the individuals and the personalities behind that company. People buy products because they see the people behind those products, and those people are communicating directly to their consumers. I think that will be true of fundraising for a lot of companies as well. Right? It's not just about hiring some investment banks to go do your roadshow for you. It's going to be about companies need to communicate directly to the investors, tell their investors what they're thinking, what they're doing, why you should believe in the team that is driving that company, and why investors deserve to invest into that business.
Okay.
Correct. People by people, right?
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah. Profound. All right. It's truly refreshing to know how personal branding and trading could work well in attaining financial freedom. So, yeah, thank you so much, Romy. It was really insightful. We really had fun listening to you.
Thank you guys very much for bringing me in. I mean, I'm excited as well to meet you, to have this conversation. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
in
much.
whatever is coming after COVID.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think.
All right.
Thank you very much. Keep in touch.
Yes.
All
yes.
the best. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Ila.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.